A runoff is set in the city of Miami.
I want to return normalcy to the city.
And other key races were decided in the county. Caplin News is live from Miami Beach. Fallout from National Election Day.
Tonight we have stepped out from the old into the new.
President Trump's first big test at the ballot box. Our DC bureau is live. And another plane crash this year.
My heart goes out to everybody at UPS.
As a UPS plane crashed and exploded in Kentucky. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Patrick Lober.
I'm Laura Iglesias. Today is Wednesday, November 5th, 2025.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
South Florida voters took to the polls yesterday, and the results are in for some key races. We have team coverage. We begin with the results from the race for Miami Beach Mayor. Residents re-elected Stephen Maynor, who defeated Commissioner Kristen Rosen Gonzalez in a tight race.
Caplin News reporter Valeria De Souza was at the watch party in Miami Beach last night and joins us live. Good morning, Valeria.
That's right, Patrick and Laura. It was a tight race here in Miami Beach, but voters ultimately decided to keep their current mayor. Stephen Maynor was re-elected last night, narrowly defeating his opponent, Kristen Rosen Gonzalez, by just a 2-point margin. In other city results, Laura Dominguez secured the Group 2 commissioner seat with about 61% of the vote, while Alex Fernandez won Group 3 in a landslide, taking 84%. But the Group 1 race isn't over yet. Monica Mateo Salinas and Monique Pardo Pope just finished a few points apart. They're headed to a runoff election December 9th. I had the opportunity to speak with Maynor and other voters here at the Miami Beach City Hall yesterday to talk about the election. Supporters of Stephen Maynor celebrate his victory after winning the election at a watch party in a local neighborhood. At the polls, voter Eric Rosales said his reasons why Maynor should be re-elected.
He would definitely continue on his path. As you can see, all the parks, you can see it's a family atmosphere, it's a family environment, and that's really the way that we grew up here in Miami Beach.
But voters like Francesca contradict what Maynor and his followers have noticed over time.
Since we moved here, it really has declined. Roads that were bustling and full of shops, I think, have either closed or flipped to, like big names stores. So that's sad to see.
Throughout his campaign, Maynor advocated for the streets in Miami Beach to be clean and free of crime. He hopes in his second term to introduce new developments that have been in the works.
Just to continue what we've been doing and obviously make sure our crime numbers stay down and reduce them even further. I have a water taxi system that I'm trying to bring, and actually been working on it for several years and looks like it's about to happen. So there's certain new and exciting projects, and obviously want to continue in my role as mayor to be able to accomplish that.
In a celebratory speech at the watch party, he stated he will continue to work on his one main goal.
My sole goal, my sole mission, our sole mission, my family, my team, is to make Miami Beach the best and safest city in America, and we're getting there, and we got to keep the momentum going. Our residents.
As you can see, Miami Beach residents have made their decisions, and Maynor says he is looking forward to continuing his work to reduce crime rates and start new projects in the city. For more details, you could visit our website at caplinnews.fiu.edu. In Miami Beach, I'm Valeria De Souza, Caplin News.
Next in our team coverage, City of Miami voters hit the polls to choose a new mayor, with County Commissioner Aileen Higgins and former city manager Emilio Gonzalez leading a crowd of 13 candidates. Caplin's Julian Lascano reports on what's at stake in this pivotal election.
Voters across the city of Miami are heading to the polls today in a closely watched mayoral race between current County Commissioner Aileen Higgins and former city manager Emilio Gonzalez, emerging as two frontrunners to replace current mayor Francis Suarez. It's a crowded field. 13 candidates are on the ballot, but recent polls show Higgins leading with more than a third of the vote, while Gonzalez sits firmly in second place. Higgins has centered her campaign on government transparency, housing affordability, and rebuilding public trust.
Housing is the number one crisis that our residents are facing, and as a commissioner, I can tell you that our phones are ringing off the hook.
Gonzalez, a retired Air Force colonel and former city manager, has emphasized leadership and accountability, positioning himself as the candidate to bring discipline and reform back to City Hall.
I want to return normalcy to the city. I want to make sure that we can grow all together, and I want to bring a sense of honesty and integrity to our government.
Turnout has been moderate so far, with about 15% of registered voters casting ballots by midday. Along with choosing a new mayor, Miamians are also deciding on several ballot measures, including lifetime term limits, new redistricting rules, and stricter oversight on public land deals.
I think there are a lot of very important issues for the city of Miami, for the community in Coconut Grove, given the development, the lack of affordable housing, increases in property taxes, expense just to live in Miami.
As the results came in, neither candidate received more than 50% of the vote, meaning that there will be a runoff in December. Reporting for Caplin News, I'm Julian Descano.
In Hialeah, it wasn't even a close race, with former Councilman Brian Calvo securing a sweeping victory. Caplin News reporter Alejandro Marquina has more on the story.
Here in Hialeah, former Councilman Brian Calvo has just been elected mayor of the City of Progress, celebrating in the Hialeah Park Casino, where the big winner wasn't at the tables, but at the polls.
The results for mayor of the City of Progress are in, and they're not even close, at the historic Hialeah Park Casino located in 100 East and 32nd Street. Calvo celebrated his decisive victory, securing nearly 53% of the vote. That's over 9,000 ballots, leaving his four challengers far behind.
I knocked on thousands of doors. I talked about the issues with residents. I told them my plan, and this was a campaign focused on that, on issues, on hard work, and that's why we see the victory we see tonight.
Calvo, a Harvard and FIU-educated attorney, first made history as Hialeah's youngest ever city councilman, and now becomes one of the youngest mayors in Florida.
I feel really happy that I've supported him since the first day, and I really wanted in my heart that he would win because he's a very good man, and I'm pretty sure he will fix everything that is bad with this city.
Supporters filled the outside of the casino, celebrating what many called a big change for the city.
We are going to feel new changes. Everything he has promised, I know and have a lot of faith that he will achieve it.
And as the celebrations continue, residents are going home, hopeful that a new era for the city has just begun. Reporting for Caplin News, I'm Alejandro Marquina.
Today, Virginians are waking up to a Democratic sweep in the governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general races.
DC Bureau reporter Duvasana Bisundial gives us the latest on this and new comments from the president, live from Arlington, Virginia.
Good morning, and this just in as we get on the air. President Trump spoke from the White House earlier this morning after his party got swept in the major national races last night. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
Last night, it was, not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think it was good for Republicans. I don't think it was good. I'm not sure it was good for anybody.
Now, a couple of those races were here in Virginia, where voters visited polling stations like this one right here behind me and made history by electing the first women that will serve in the state's top two positions at the same time. The Commonwealth will now have its first female governor and its first Muslim lieutenant governor. From the very beginning of the polls opening yesterday morning, Democrat Abigail Spanberger led the race by a wide margin over Republican Winsome Earl Sears. Spanberger's race was one of the earliest called for the Democrats. In the lieutenant governor's race, Democratic State Senator Ghazala Hashmi easily defeated Republican conservative talk show host John Reed. Hashmi becomes the first Indian to hold statewide office in the Commonwealth, as well as the first Muslim woman to win a statewide race in the entire country. Over in the Attorney General's race, it was neck and neck for a while, and in the end, Democrat Jay Jones narrowly beat Republican incumbent Jason Miyares, who has been the first Cuban American in statewide office. Now, I talked to voters at the same polling place in Arlington, and they said they came out to make their voices heard, especially during this tense election season happening during a government shutdown. Virginia has the highest number of federal employees in this area, and many of them are not working right now.
I'm a furloughed federal employee. There's one party that specifically has complete control over the government right now, and I don't have a job because of them. So, I mean, it's pretty safe to say I have to exercise my rights to do something about that.
I think the biggest thing for me is keeping our democracy democratic, whereas like most Republicans seem to just fall in line with Trump.
Good government is boring government. You want people who are effective administrators, people who understand the issues, and are able to bring people together in a way that's less concerned with violent rhetoric.
I think people are turning out because they want to see that victory. They want to see their vote towards someone who actually is going to win and support their policies.
For the last 20 years of my life, I've never been able to vote for something. I've only ever had to vote against something. It's always the lesser of two evils, lesser of two evils, lesser of two evils. Give me something to vote for.
Now, Virginia saw a record number of voters in this election season, which right now is setting the tone for next year's midterms in the battle for control of Congress. Reporting live in Arlington, I'm Duvasna Basindial, Caplin News.
After a historic election night, Democrats came out on top with record turnout across the nation, securing victories in New York, New Jersey, and California. To conclude team coverage, D.C. Bureau reporter Jose Carlos Rodriguez has more on what this could mean for next year's midterm elections.
New York just elected its youngest and first Muslim mayor. In New Jersey, Democrats scored a third consecutive win in the governor's race, something not seen since the 60s. And in California, a new congressional map could reshape the political landscape of 2026.
Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani took the New York's mayoral race against former Governor Andrew Cuomo. The election drew the highest turnout since 1969, with more than 2 million voters casting ballots.
The future is in our hands.
In New Jersey, Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill won the governor's race against Trump-endorsed Republican Jack Ciattarelli.
I know not everyone voted for me, but I'm working for everyone. Every single one of you.
In California, voters approved Proposition 50 by a landslide. That measure will allow the states to redraw its congressional map and give Democrats up to 5 seats in the U.S. House. The state's new map will be used for the next 3 elections.
Analysts suggest that the result of these elections reflect a change in voter sentiment about the current administration in the White House, which could set the tone for next year's elections. Turnout this year broke records everywhere, which historically is not the case for non-presidential and congressional years. Reporting in Arlington, Virginia, I'm Jose Carlos Rodriguez, Caplin News.
Investigations are underway this morning after at least 7 people died and 11 faced injuries from a UPS cargo plane crash. This happened yesterday in Louisville, Kentucky, near the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. The Federal Aviation Administration says the plane crashed near the tarmac shortly after takeoff on a flight southbound for Honolulu. Mayor Craig Greenberg said this morning that efforts are underway to help everyone affected by this tragedy.
UPS is such an important part of our city. There are 20,000+ employees that call Louisville home. Their involvement in all aspects of the community. This is a tragedy for the victims that we've lost. It's a horrible event for everyone that's part of the UPS family and our entire city.
The fire department chief says hundreds of firefighters worked to contain the blaze, which spread over a large area. Greenberg says the airport is expected to reopen today.
An update on how the United States is stepping up to help those affected by catastrophic Hurricane Melissa. The Trump administration is providing $24 million in emergency assistance. There will be $12 million for Jamaica. Haiti will get $8.5 million, and $3 million will go to Cuba. That leaves $500,000 for the Bahamas. In the next couple of days, the U.S. is expected to announce more assistance packages.
A soccer legend receives a high honor.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
In a minute, bouncing puck. Marchand gets to it. He's in. Score! He went back against the
The Panthers can hang on against the Ducks. See more on Newsbreak and back in 2 minutes.
Really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes.
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Panthertech in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
The Panthers face off against the Ducks, but ultimately fell short for Florida. The Florida Panthers played a tough game against the Anaheim Ducks. Just last night, they went face-to-face in California. Not a surprise, the Panthers started off strong with Evan Rodriguez tying things up in the first and left wing Brad Marchand following a power play goal to make it 2-1. The lead didn't last long as the Ducks soon took control.
Pass save and a big rebound. Nestorenko scores.
Not the best performance from the Panthers, but they still sit near the top of the Atlantic Division. Final score was Panthers 3, Anaheim 7. They'll be going up against the San Jose Sharks on Saturday, November 8th, an away game.
King Charles III knighted former British soccer star and Inter Miami CF owner David Beckham at Windsor Castle on Tuesday. The honor was bestowed upon Beckham for his services to sport and charity. The retired pro footballer described the ceremony as his proudest moment.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Laura Iglesias.
And I'm Patrick Lober. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.